Right. And how do you deal with the death of a character on the show, but then also in real life? Because this is somebody you work with, somebody on the show. How do you deal with that afterwards?
Well, what's really cool about Giacomo and his leaving is that he got to direct an episode that he just finished the other day. And so we didn't feel like that episode was us saying goodbye, because we still got to like steal him. And in this world of Grey's Anatomy right now, if you die, you could possibly reappear. So there's the potential for all of those elements. Whether he does or not will need to be seen. But we definitely got him to steal him for, an extra week and a bit and have him direct us, which was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And like you said, you never really know. You can always have different kind of cameos, and especially with Meredith in this kind of like beach life limbo situation. Like you watch every episode, which is a cool aspect this season. And you're kind of like every week you're like, well, who's showing up to the beach? Like you don't know who it's going to be, which is really, really cool. And I know you can't tell us too much because I feel like, and Grey's Anatomy fans are crazy, right? Like they're digging deep. They're predicting who they want to show up, who they want to make it to the beach, who they want to save Meredith.
Like every Grey's Anatomy fan, I feel like should work for the FBI, like solve everything. It's like, they will this is what I learned this, like my first season of like posting a picture. They will take like the mug all the way in the background and figure out whose that is, who you're dating, if you broke up, if they're now dead, so like, yes, I cannot say anything, but what is your question anyway?
But also, would you even know the answer? What have you just been getting fake scripts?
Sometimes I do know the answer and sometimes I definitely don't, is the truth.
Fran, ask the question because...
Well, I guess the question is, will we be seeing more past characters who have left the show?
I will phrase this in a way that won't get me in trouble.
Okay.
And I will say that the beach is definitely in play still this season. So watch live, because otherwise things will just always be spoiled.
Yeah. I have to say, like, I always, I feel like a lot of people, it's hard to watch TV live. And I definitely, the last 2 seasons, would watch on Hulu the next day and catch up. But now this season, I'm like, I have to watch live or else the next day, like, forget it. It's, I'm like, I miss Derek, George. Like, I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore because then it ruins the episode.
Well, on E! News, they usually just like post a picture of whatever happened on Grey's Anatomy.
Right away.
And then that's how it gets spoiled. And I'm like, well, that's when I said, like, I'm on season 5, but I know what happens, because how would I not know what happens?
Yeah. I know. I do feel bad for people that are that far behind, because I just feel like, is there anything? Okay. I was like, is there anything to be surprised by anymore? But
no, I'm sure I'll still be surprised by things, even if I know them. But you joined it was like 2012, right? Which was around the time that you, 2009?
No, in season 9.
Season 9. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm up to season 5. So I haven't gotten there yet, but because it was season 9 and the show is still, obviously it's on season 17, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've been on longer now, right? Or around the same amount of time that it was going when you joined. What was your expectations going in, because it had such a large fan base? Obviously, Grey's Anatomy was already a huge show.
Yeah.
Were you nervous to join the cast because of the huge fan base surrounding it, or was it an excitement because it was such a large show?
Well, there are 2 parts to this question. I was personally a fan of the show, but I didn't. So I was nervous to get on because I was nervous to get on a show that I had watched and it was like very iconic. But I didn't actually speak to other people about the show. Before I got on it, I actually had no idea the fandom that is Grey's Anatomy. I thought like, oh, obviously it's on the air, people still watch it, but like I had no idea. And when I got on the show and I was like, hey, I just got on Grey's Anatomy, that's when like everyone came out of the woodwork and they're like, wait, Grey's Anatomy? And I'm like, wait, you watch Grey's Anatomy? And then I feel like it wasn't even that crazy when I first joined. I think it was like I'm not sure when we hit Netflix. Whenever we really hit Netflix and people started to like, younger people started to like, people in high school started to start from the beginning and like binge it in the summer. That's when it got really crazy. That's what I noticed at like going out, especially if there's like a group of like college girls or high school girls, like it's going to be more of a situation like walking down the street. I feel like it wasn't necessarily like that in the beginning. So I didn't really know, and I'm glad I didn't know what I was in for. And now when people join the show, like when Jake Borelli joined, who plays Levi, I just sat down with him one day and I was like, I just want you to know what this will mean for your life. And it's hard to explain to people, like, you going out will be different for you. Because the fandoms are so huge and in so many countries. There's no like traveling to Italy or somewhere and like not being recognized. It's just everywhere.
Yeah. Which is cool. Like, I like what you said. People
still recognize you now with the masks on? Sorry.
Oh, the masks.
Yes, actually, it's so funny because I have my real life pod in Los Angeles, and it's actually Chris Carmack. So it's like a Joe and Link situation for me. Our daughters like our best friends. It's really cute. And so he was over and he was saying, it's so crazy. I still get recognized in the mosque. And I was like, yes, because we're out in costume. Might as well throw on our scrubs. So it definitely does happen. Like I get recognized in just the mask. Yeah. Especially I think because people this season are seeing us so much, like without, all the glam really or anything.